what time, but they're struggling too. I might go back in and put a little bit on this Memphis team
Yeah.
because I like that they can score. And I mean, they played a pretty good schedule too. So they've been tested. I might throw a little fun money on Memphis and see what, maybe just to make the Final Four. I don't think they can win it all, but why not?
Yeah, I have Wichita State playing your Florida Atlantic team tonight. I got plus 16. They're up 9 right now, Wichita State, so looking really good in that. Yeah, that team's weird. They're playing good. That game against Arizona a couple weeks ago was just dynamite. I mean, lights out. I mean, really good. I have not done a wager yet on anybody. I want to jump in here. I gave my brother-in-law a couple last year. I gave him 4 teams, and I did give him Connecticut, and I think he did win about $200-300 he put down on that. So I want to dive back into that. Mid-majors. Hey, Matt, I just want to throw these 2 teams out, and I lost this bet. I had Western Carolina. Two nights ago, I think it was like a 6 p.m. game. They played Samford, man. What a great entertaining game. 2 very good teams. Samford came out and won. They're a very high-scoring team. That game wasn't crazy, but, man, it was competitive. I really enjoyed watching that. Keep an eye. One of those teams, I think, is going to come out, get in the, they're going to win and get in the tournament. So keep an eye on Samford.
You said Samford, right?
Yes.
S-A-M.
Yeah, Samford. Yeah. Yep. Samford.
Yeah.
And
as of right now, they're in the bracketology. I looked at them. They're a long shot. They're one of those teams who could get a win in the first round.
Oh, yeah. Love that team.
Yeah. They're one of the smaller conferences who gets hot. Yeah.
Western Carolina, man, great team down in Sylvan, North Carolina. We had some property down there. That university's right down the road from that. Rooting for them a little bit too. But hey, New Mexico's a great team. Keep an eye on them. That's a dynamite team. Mashburn Junior's on that team. Princeton, a team that made a run last year. They're dynamite in the Ivy again. Keep an eye on that team. Just a couple teams off the top. Drake.
I have them written down.
Yeah, Drake. Drake's another one that had a good team last year. I think got in the tournament. That's a very good basketball team also.
I have 2 others that I like as well.
Yeah, fire them out.
I like Indiana State to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Their schedule is not the greatest. So they're going to be one of those teams who gets to, if they get into the tournament, everybody's going to be like, oh, their strength of schedule is dirt, so don't pick these guys but they're sneaky. And I actually like Iowa State this year. And they're going to get tested in in the Big 12 because the Big 12 is really deep this year. So they'll come in battle tested. I like them. They're an older squad as well. They were there last year, so I think they can make a little noise this year.
Yeah, one team I want to get, and I'm not Coach Davis for UNC, but, man, they're whipping people in the ACC.
Yeah, they're hot right now. I mean, they're good with the big guy too. Baycott, as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, they're a good team. I like Arizona. I think I liked Arizona last year. They let me down, but I do like Arizona. But I got to get in. I got to get in on a couple bets here. Just have a couple futures. That's what we got to do, and that's what we do on this show. All right, let's get NFL time, everybody. Let's see what's happening here. We got some games coming up. Let's recap first, Matt. So you had the Texans. We'll dive in their game here in a second, but let's recap really fast. Let's zip through some of the games that happened last weekend. Crazy weekend. You had the Texans win 45-14. We both were on them last show. We said to do the money line, and we gave that out. And they defense was great. 2 picks for pick 6. CJ Stroud, man, again, big game. Singletary's running the ball. Overall, just quick thought in that game. What did you take out of the Texans and the Browns?
We diagnosed it really well. The Browns were a different monster on the road. They're not that good on the road. My 2 bets were Houston money line and Flacco NEINT. Well, he covered that with ease. Should have probably played a defensive touchdown. That would have been nice. But, yeah, I really didn't sweat it. CJ Stroud is really, really good. He's already a top, I don't want to say 5, but I'm going to say top 8 quarterback, depending on what happens going forward. He's flawless. He doesn't get rattled. D'Amico Ryan seems to have a really good game plan. You said Singletary can run the ball. This week might be a little tougher. I hope the wide receivers are healthy. It would be really good if they're all ready to go. Noah Brown, I think he may have got banged up last week. I'm not sure. But Collins put on a show. And the Brownies, I mean, it's still the Browns. They had a ton of injuries. They did a great job this year, but I didn't expect them to go very far at all. And that's why I had the money line. So that's my take.
All right. Hey, in the chat, Scotty from Austin, Texas. Hey, thank you. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. And Ken, Hound, PA, Ken's always here, man. I feel like Ken's the third man right now on the show. I wrote down some stuff from Ken on got my bigger index cards. Thank you again. I got them. So my eyes, again, I need the bigger index cards, people. Helps my vision. Just had to say to John, our producer tonight, make the chat bigger. I can't see it, man. The age is kicking in, Matt. I wear contacts, but I might need to do double or something on some of this tiny print. All right, let's bounce next game, everyone. Hey, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Let's chime in. Hey, give out some info, guys. You got some games? Jump in here, man. We'll shoot it out here. Green Bay, man, what a performance Green Bay did on Dallas. I mean, they jumped on them fast. Overall. And Dallas bringing back Ken's favorite coach. Can't I got some jokes tonight, man. I'm fired up tonight, man. Snow's coming here too. I'm not working tomorrow. We're already canceled, so let's let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. So Ken said he couldn't manage a grocery store, but Dallas is bringing them back. His numbers are pretty close to Mike Tomlin. I'll bring that up in a little bit. But, man, what a bad performance. Green Bay jumped on him. I mean, Love is playing fantastic, Matt. And Prescott has bad numbers. We gave it out last week on the show. I like them in a teaser. I had him in a teaser, and I did take the +7 also. As I said on the show last week, dogs. Let's go. They're going to bark, and they did. And just disappointing. I guess they think Dallas is still good with this regime. So overall, quick thoughts on that game.
Another one, money line for me, and I took it +7. I doubled up on that one. I had a great Saturday, and then not so great Sunday, just because of player props, and I had a couple bad beats that we'll probably get into. But Green Bay's they're going to push the Niners. I think the Niners might come in just a tad flat first half, might be something to look at. So they get their wheels under them. LaFleur, his game plan right now, and I can't believe it because we knocked him probably for the last 2 years, especially last year when they laid an egg with Rodgers and how bad they ended up being. He's turned into a really good play caller for the last 10 weeks. And I don't know how many plays they script, but whatever script they got rolling, it's working. And Love is playing fantastic. He's another one you can throw in there with Stroud. He's a top 10 quarterback. It's going to be fun to watch, and they're the youngest team in the league. Look out for the Packers, man. I know Detroit won the division, but holy smokes, that's going to be a battle next year.
All right, let's go. I'm just going through cards real quick here. We got Tampa. Tampa had a big win against Philly. I know that was the last game, but I'm just going to jump in that game right now. Hey, I've been saying it for weeks, and I feel bad because I have a lot of people that like Philly. Our producer want to bet, got a Mountain Dew sitting over here. We had a Dr. Pepper Mountain Dew bet. Probably just give that to my wife here when I go home. But I've been saying this Philly team just didn't seem right. I said it for weeks. It seemed like that year when the Steelers were 11-0, and it was just a very fake 11-0 team. Had some issues. Tampa, big win. What'd you think of that game, Matt?
Yeah, Philly looks cooked, man. I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think they'd come out completely, and I don't think Hurts played that well if you look at his stat line. But they don't. James Bradbury, I saw a stat, and I put it on the line that he's just burnt toast. I believe he allowed a perfect passer rating. Basically, he didn't defend one pass the entire game. It was something like 156 rating against him. I mean, that's finding the weakest link and then just going after it. They have a lot of stuff to think about in Philly. Coaching, the coordinators, I'm pretty sure are going to be gone. Does Sirianni get the boot, and do they go big time? I think they should. Will they? I don't know. and they're going to lose a lot of vets. There's a lot of guys on that team that are going to have to kind of disappear. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, etc. So who knows? That Philly team could be one of the teams next year where you look at them like missing the playoffs because it's bound to happen. So it's kind of a rebuild. But Tampa, you know what? I don't like this little trash talk they got going with Detroit, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And Tampa Tampa didn't play great, in my opinion, but they played good. So they got the win, and they're moving on.
All right, let's go with, hey, we got another, I think it was Nebraska in the chat room, man. I like that. We got Texas, PA, Nebraska. Spread the word, man. Let's keep growing this thing here. Wild Style Productions. Let's go. All right, let's dive into that Lions game, man. Good game. Good, entertaining game against the Rams. Very up and down. Good offenses. You know, maybe a call late in the game. It kind of surely seemed like pass interference. But, you know, it's hard when you look at games. And it's tough when it's your team. If I was a Rams fan, I'd be like, well, that was pass interference. But if you look at games, there's calls that is missed and sometimes called and sometimes not called. And I think one play sometimes can't control the entire game. That was a tough one. I really thought they should have went for it on fourth down there, Matt, because I knew if they punted the ball, I didn't think they were going to get the ball back. I think they had one timeout, but I thought it was an entertaining game. Overall, Lions have a good team. Our good friend is a big Lions fan, so you know, I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm pulling for him, but I think it's great. They haven't won many playoff games over the years. So let's go Lions, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah. I think the Lions are going to be the smart play this weekend too, especially at home. I mean, that crowd is going to be electric. Not a funny stat. It's actually kind of a sad, disturbing stat. That is the most expensive game this weekend, ticket-wise. I believe I saw average cost is $1,200 ballpark.
Wow.
That's nuts. That's nuts. I mean, they're just starved. That place is going to be electric. I think they have the good ground game with the two-headed backs to get it done, even though Tampa's good against the run. I mean, Campbell still scares me on occasion. I like the Rams. The season they had, I think, arrow up on that team, getting more draft picks back. Puka Nacua is just disgustingly good.
Yep.
He actually reminds me of basically the new Anquan Bolden. Catches everything, can run through you, somehow doesn't get caught, is always open. He's got 10 years in this league. I think that's just going to pile up catches and do really good things. So good season by the Rams, but it had to end. And, yeah, let's go Detroit.
All right. I'm out of whack on games here. We got Buffalo. Buffalo beat the Steelers. Buffalo's going to host Kansas City here. You know, the Buffalo game was crazy. Conditions, game got pushed back. It would have been better probably for Steelers if they could have played in the elements a little bit. Hey, that game was, if the Steelers didn't turn the ball over as much as they did, Pickens, that game was there. Especially, you know, I hit the teaser, I hit a live bet, and I had the +10, and it was there. If Rudolph wasn't dinking and dunking down the field at the end, if he could have taken some shots, maybe we had it. You know, you knew Buffalo was the better team than Pittsburgh. Big interception right at the 1 yard line. That was key. Could have made it 14-7, and you just don't know. But Buffalo overall was a better team. There were some calls. Buffalo didn't get a lot of flags. Steelers surely did. The fake slide and then run, and then later in the game, Jack's trying to hold up, barely hit Allen, and they're throwing a personal flag. I mean, come on now. You got to change that. But I got a couple things with this game in a second. But, Matt, any takeaways from that game?
Yeah. Good riddance to the worst team in the playoffs this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, my goodness. You drive me crazy sometimes.
Please, come on now. They still got the third-string quarterback.
And they fought. They fought. That game was competitive. That game wasn't competitive.
They fight every week.
Well, yeah, but here, okay. So I'll let you finish, and that's fine. You can rip them, but I will give them credit, and I'm going to rip Mike Tomlin here in a little bit, or maybe after you're done. I got a little thing about Mike Tomlin.
I'll rip Mike Tomlin as well.
Well, but here's the thing: most teams getting down the way they did would have got blown out. And I give them some credit because they fought. And you can say, okay, that's not a big deal, Smitty, but in most teams in the playoffs, if you're down 21-0, you're like, okay, where am I going on vacation? How many times am I playing golf this week? And I thought they competed. Now, still, they haven't won a playoff game in years. So now, finish.
Yeah, it was just never in doubt to me. I laid the 9.5. Thought it was pretty safe, basically the whole game. I know you threw a bunch of bets on Steelers getting points. I think you had 5 through 30, basically. So I
had a teaser. I had plus 16, and I did a live at 22.5 off the top of my head.
Yeah,
and then I had the plus 10.
I think you said you were going 30 though too.
No, I stayed off that. If it got up to 30, I think I said I was going to jump in. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have jumped in for 30 too. So, but yeah, I mean, people with Pittsburgh, I'm not even going to look at that game. You got to look bigger picture. I'm sure you're going to get into it with the Tomlin versus McCarthy and what's going on in-house and their quarterback supposedly on the roster and this and that. I don't know.
Oh, we'll talk about that next year.
Yeah, I'm done with the team. I'm done with their winning record again because to me it's irrelevant when you have such a standard and you haven't won a playoff game since the Clinton or the Obama administration. Get over it. Get over your past. You better start focusing on the future.
All right, and here's my thing with Tomlin. And I'm going to bring in about people shoveling Buffalo out in a little bit when we hit the game again. But they were giving people so the fans come in and they shovel Buffalo for $20. And I'm going to chime in again when we get back to the Buffalo game here in a minute. Mike, somebody could have given me $10 an hour to go try to pack up Mike Tomlin's house and get him out of Pittsburgh. I don't even need 20. You don't have to give me pizza or anything. $10 an hour. I'll help the Tomlins pack up and they can go. I wanted them to go in a different direction. Doesn't seem like it's happening. Am I going to lose sleep over it? No. But, Mike, you screwed up. You could have hired me for $10 an hour and I would have helped you move because I kind of want you gone. Because, again, and Matt, you said this with McCarthy. Everyone can't stand McCarthy and want him out. People now on social, they're putting the same numbers over the last couple of years. McCarthy has the same numbers. If you're going to call this guy a bum, well, why can't you call Mike Tomlin a bum?
Yeah.
Yeah, $10 an hour, Mike. I would have been there.
You want the other telling stat that we've been throwing around today?
Yeah, go for it.
Only 2 coaches in NFL history have lost 5 straight playoff games. One's Mike Tomlin, the other's Marvin Lewis.
And everybody thought highly of Marvin Lewis.
Yeah. But he's no different. Mike Tomlin has basically turned the Steelers into the Bengals under Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, great point. Scotty just said Chargers now have completely interviewed Mike Vrabel. Hey, Scotty, that would have been the one if Tomlin would have left, I would have been on the phone with Vrabel really quick. If I was Pittsburgh. I like Mike Vrabel. I think he's a good coach. All right, Matt, let's bounce into it, man. That was a recap. Let's go in live this week, man. Let's get some winners. I have not bet anything yet. I'm going to say it. A lot of leans I'm going to throw out on the show tonight. Follow our social media. You know I'm going to be diving into all these games and giving it out. You got the Texans coming in. I got to get more live odds here, but Baltimore, Maddie, 4:30, ESPN, ABC. Hey, I'm going to give it out right now before I forget because he might throw a punch at me if I forget. Old Man in the Garage called Tampa Bay last week, and I thought I mentioned it. And he's like, no, man, I listened to the show. You didn't mention it. I said, well, I'm going to mention it right away. I thought he was going to go Kansas City. No. Texans going to pull a major upset this weekend. They're going to beat Baltimore. Old Man in the Garage's prediction. Let's get after it. I don't know if it's going to happen. I like it. Hey, go on a little different. Don't be just, let's fire it, man. You look like a genius if it happens here. But you got 2 good teams here, Matt. They did play week 1, but you can't really look at week 1. I mean, CJ first game, everything here. Here's one. I got a couple trends here. I'm going to do the covers like I always do, but I got another one, I think, from John Ewing that gave out on social. since 2003 off a bye. So that'd be the Ravens, San Francisco, 32, 41, and 1, 44% ATS. Lamar Jackson, 1-9 ATS of 7 or more points. I got to get the live lines up, Matt. I don't have them up. I'm going to get them up here in a second. But what's your thoughts, my friend? Can we get an upset?
I think Old Man in the Garage is on to something.
Oh, I like it. Ken thinks it too. I like it. Let's go, people. Let's get fired up.
I think he's on to something. I think it's going to have a big break some way, somehow for it to happen. There's going to have to be a pick six or a special teams kind of fluky play. But, I mean, if you look at Stroud's numbers, so that's week 1. He was 28 of 44 for 242 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Not bad. I mean, first game NFL against one of the premier teams in the league. And you come away unscathed. Collins was there. They did have Tank Dell. Noah Brown was there. So he's got all the pieces. Dalton Schultz is going to play a big role. Now, the two linebackers for Baltimore, Queen and Roquan Smith, are monsters. And they can cover, they can blitz, they can tackle. So I think Schultz may be a little neutralized. And I think it's going to have to be another Collins game. And I don't think D'Amico Ryans is afraid to air it out with Stroud right now. He shouldn't throw it 45 times. Last week's recipe was what? He was like 18 of 27. It was perfect.
16 out of 21.
Well, all right, even less.
274, 3 touchdowns. Attempts.
Yeah, run the ball with Singletary. And I think they can keep it close, especially if it's a cold, maybe a little snowy kind of game. Why not? If I'm going to pick a dog this week, I'm actually with Old Man in the Garage. I know that's a huge number, 9.5.
I got a 10 on one book.
Yeah, I see 9.5, but I'm not afraid to actually play it. So you want a little fun? Go for it. But I am also on the Texans.
Yeah, get the ball, man. Nico Collins blowing it up lately.
Yeah, and I think I heard something too. No, that's Green Bay. Green Bay, when they win the coin toss, takes the ball every time and has scored, I believe, on 5 straight opening drives, maybe. So I like that. I like an aggressive team. I think D'Amico's got this team aggressive, so why not? Why not pull an upset here?
Yeah, covers.com. We've been giving these trends out. Great stuff they give out. And I wrote down trend unders first half. All 8 road games for the Texans this year have gone under. Over-under I wrote down last night was 23.5. Another little one here. They gave a little bonus trend. Ravens 14-3 ATS first half. They get out quick. Listen, I'm the teaser king, man. I like playing teasers. You know I'm taking the Texans up in a teaser. Get them up to about 15.5, 16. I'm going to take a chance with that, man. CJ's just a different cookie. I mean, he's good. Do you think Carolina right now is just like, what happened?
Well, just because you brought up Carolina, it's funny with this big coaching carousel going around. Nobody's bringing up Carolina. Does anybody want to go there and coach?
No.
One, because of the nutso owner who can't stick out of the news.
Throwing drinks at people.
Yeah, and then maybe a bad. I don't want to say Bryce Young's a bad draft pick because that's just a bad team. But out of the gate, it kind of looks like bust city the way it's going. So, what coach wants to come in there and basically have a rebuild that might need another rebuild?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that Baker Mayfield, good one there, medicine there in the chat. We'll get to Baker in a second here. And I'll get to your Buffalo stuff. Good stuff about the fan shoveling. I got a little. I thought of something today about that shoveling. I'm going to ask Matt about that. Okay, let's move on here. 8:15 Fox, Green Bay, 10-8, 12-5 San Francisco. I wrote down, Matt, looking at conditions, and again, all this conditions can change. I had rain in the forecast for that Green Bay again, 48-32 over Dallas. Love was 16 out of 21, 272, 3 picks. Defense was there. Everybody thought their defense was going to get torched. You listen to every show, they're going to get torched. Dak, I think now is like 1-6 in the playoffs, just not good. Jones is running the ball, 21 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. They got guys, man. Here's the trend from covers with San Francisco, though. 11 of the 12 San Francisco wins are by double digits. Man, I'm going to bring it up here. What did the line get to today? It's -9.5. I'm looking at over under 50.5. Any thoughts on this game? Are you playing anything yet?
I'm going to take the Packers in the points. The way Green Bay is playing, I don't think they're scared to travel, go out there and hammer away with San Francisco. Everybody's like, oh, San Francisco's defense is elite. It's not as elite as everyone thinks. Just because they have some really big names, you go back and look at the stats, they're not super impressive when it comes to overall team D. So, I mean, Jordan Love and Stroud right now are just, they're as good as any quarterback in the playoffs. And with Aaron Jones, I believe it's 4 straight games now, getting 20 touches, 100 yards. They pass protect extremely well. Their offensive line is fantastic at pass protection. And those wide receivers can just they can shuffle forward in and out now constantly. Fresh legs, run around. I don't think they win this game. Let's put it this way. If Houston does upset Baltimore in game 1, I am going to put some fun money on Green Bay to upset San Francisco. I think they hang within the 9.5. I would love to catch a 10 if it comes up, so keep an eye on that. But I'm rolling with the Packers. Give me the points and the Packers.
All right, let's go into, you got Tampa, Detroit. Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware that Tampa better prepare for cold conditions?
Yeah. That reporter needs to probably have her credentials revoked after that. I mean, come on. You got to do better than that. Even if she says, oh, I was just trying to like poke and prod and joke. No way. Not the way you,
that was not a
not
joke.
The way you actually fired that question off and took into it.
No. So if our audience doesn't know, so there was I'm going to say, I mean, it was a female reporter that kind of gave a question out to Todd Bowles, the coach Tampa Bay, and said, there's been some really bad conditions in these playoff games, weather conditions. And how's your team going to prepare for playing Detroit? And it's going to be really cold. And I'll give Coach credit, man. He kind of stood there with a straight face and was like, well, they play in a dome, and really I don't have to say anything because they just have to get off the bus and get in the dome and we'll be okay. Yeah, that was kind of comical. And yeah. Ken said 100% she was dead serious. Yes, she was. Absolutely, she was. How about, it's called research. It's called research. All right, here we go. This game, I know our friend Ken's going to be up. Guy in the chat here, was it Scott? Medicine, I think, said out Baker 3-0 ATS. I want to give that out in playoffs. 7 TDs, 1 pick. Trend Tampa, also from covers.com. 8-1 ATS on the road for Tampa. Hey, if Baker's hot, heads up. I mean, last week, 23 out of 36, 337, 3 touchdowns. Spread the ball around, man. I mean, you didn't have Mike Evans going off. You didn't have their top wide receivers really having big giant numbers in this game. He spread the ball a little bit in this. And this secondary, Matt, I think you can go after their secondary. Now, Detroit's going to be fired up. Absolutely. Goff, 22 out of 27, 277, 1 touchdown. I think they got to get the running backs in a little bit, Matt. They only had 79 yards rushing. I want to see them run the ball a little bit. I did play Gibbs over receiving yards. That was a piece of cake, man. That was done in like the second quarter. It was like 21 yards. I mean, it was nothing. He had that in like no time in that game. St. Brown playing fantastic. I did put in my notes, they do play in a dome. See, there's research. I know they play in a dome. All right. Get the ball to White. Tampa 18, 72 yards last week. This is a tough one, Matt, especially in a teaser spot. Could you tease this one down for Detroit? But again, I love dogs. Tease it up. Could Baker pick this team apart? I think he can a little bit. What's your overall thought?
I think Baker's getting healthy, which is crazy to say. He's been banged up with ribs and ankle, everything, shoulder. He looked okay. He's feisty, man. I've always had, not a soft spot, but I've actually liked him. I know he's cocky and arrogant, but I'm okay with that. I think people have quit on him too much. I'm not going to quit on him. I just don't like the spot for them this week. There's always a blowout in the divisional round. Somebody comes in after a big win. I feel this may be the one. I actually think Detroit gets it done and pretty easy. The problem, I think, is because Baker has all those weapons, this is one of the ones where you could see the back door open up and you get your teaser kind of cover. They cut it to 10 or something. I think Detroit actually wins. It's like 33-23. I just like the Lions' makeup right now. Taylor Decker has this team. Like, he's kind of taken on the leadership role. Penei Sewell looks like maybe the best lineman out there right now. Him and Trent Williams for the Niners. Their O-line is so good. I don't think Vitavea and that front scare the Lions team as much as they did with the Eagles, who obviously couldn't run the ball. But yeah, give me the Lions with St. Brown, the wide receivers. I mean, the backup wide receivers. Who's the kid from the Rams? Who is there? John Robinson. I can't even think of his name right now. But he was wide receiver too. He played a great game last week. Laporta is like the Terminator.
Yeah, he came back. I'm shocked he came back. Shocked he came back.
If I'm doing anything, I'm probably going to go your route. Ease the Lions down and just say it's like a money line win. So,
all right, Kansas City, Buffalo, 6:30 CBS. All right, so our one guy in the chat tonight said, hey, they just don't have companies. They got to get the people been from the 80s, and that's great. Okay, I think it's awesome that the fans come in. I really do. I mean, good for those people. They're passionate. They're crazy. They love their football team. But I want to ask Matt something before we dive into this game. Do you think what's the relationships with husbands and wives up there? This just popped in my head, and this is how my brain thinks. What's the divorce rate up there? Because can you imagine? You go, snows all the time. This place has snowed now from last Saturday or Friday, and it's still snowing. It's going to snow. They just went on social media again. They asked people to start coming to the stadium. Do you think the divorce rate's high? Because could you imagine the husband shoveling a section like E120 out and then going home and the wife says, hey, go out and do the driveway and the sidewalk. And he's like, hey, shut up. I just did the whole stadium. I did a whole section. Just get off my back. I'm going to sit on the couch for a little bit. I'm done shoveling. I don't want to shovel anymore. Doing the stadium. I'm doing the house. I could see the wife getting really upset. I bet the divorce rate's high up in Buffalo.
Oh, I'm Googling it right now. We'll see what we can find.
That's just how my brain it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, can you imagine? Because, my wife, the other day I went out and I shoveled for a bunch of people in where I live, the cul-de-sac. My wife didn't say, hey, get out there and do it. Some wives probably do. Hey, come on, let's go. Get on this. And if you're there doing $20 an hour, getting a little bit of food, and then you come home and she's like, hey, come on, let's go. I got to get out. You're like, hey, stop. Shut up. I don't want to talk. I'm going to sit here. I'm not doing this anymore. Done.
I'd say it's pretty normal.
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're number 7 in 7 out of 10 in New York. So,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think Buffalo's like Pittsburgh. That's a blue collar town.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's the kind of place where the high school sweethearts last forever. You have a college fling, you hook up. Next thing you know, you're married with 3 kids. Yep. The snowmobiles, the whole works. So hunting.
And listen, and hey, and I'm going to say this: a lot of people I follow that were at that game, Steeler fans, They bragged, they were like, these people are great. Like they fit right in.
Yeah.
They were tailgating together. They didn't care. I didn't see any, people weren't posting like fist fights in the parking lot with each other. No, because like you said, it's the same kind of people, man. They're just tough people. They like their football team. Now Buffalo, they dive through burning tables. That's just what they do.
I mean, they can't root for the Sabres because that team sucks. So.
All right, Matty. Hey, I heard a couple things here I want to give out before we get your info here. Hey, Mahomes as a dog, 8-1-1 ATS. Now, you got to remember, this is one of they're really never been on the road in the playoffs, Kansas City. Now, Super Bowl, yes. But, so let's challenge this. This could be a little different here. The trends under 16 out of 18 and Chiefs, like second half just doesn't happen. But the Chiefs are very good as dogs, 15-4-1 as a dog. I saw one today, and I did not write it down because it was just really quick. The head ref, if this is true.
Oh, no.
I wish. And I think it's a pretty good site that posted it, but I wish I would have wrote it down. And I told old man in the garage, the head ref, the Chiefs have really good numbers with him officiating games. And Buffalo does not. And just a lot of penalties. I kind of like taking the Chiefs up in a teaser, but money line play, I like Buffalo. Go for it.
Oh, man. Okay. I hate. We all read, we all see that the NFL, air quotes, has a narrative, and it's fixed and rigged. And you know what? In some way, shape, or form, there's always sketchy stuff. I hope there's no sketchy stuff this week. I do not want to see the Kansas City Chiefs advance. I want to see them gone. Let them reload. Take a year off. See what Andy Reid wants to do. I think this is Josh. I said it a few weeks to go in the season. I think this is Josh Allen's run. I think this is going to be a really ugly game, though. I got burned last week on Allen's over rushing attempts. He had 8 going into the fourth quarter, I believe. He ended with 8. Didn't have a kneel down. Didn't have another run. And I'm like, man, that's sketchy as shit. Sorry to say it, but you're telling me that guy who carried them wasn't going to take one more run. I don't want to see anything with the refs funny. I don't want to see anything with lines funny. I think this is a Buffalo Bills win. I think they actually cover the 3. It's going to be a struggle, but I think they can get a late touchdown and win this game by 10. I think this is probably around a 27-17 game. I just don't think the Chiefs have the weapons. Pacheco's going to run hard, and I think he's actually going to get yards against this team. Rashee Rice, he may be a number 1. He's not a number 1 yet. And Kelsey is legit. He's lost a step. He's not scary anymore. He's not even that scary in the open field. Now, the problem is Buffalo's a little thin at linebacker, so I hope Jordan Poyer, or I hope they have a secret weapon like a third nickel corner who's going to come out and maybe shadow Kelsey, run a little defense, but they have to pressure Mahomes. If they don't, the Chiefs are going to hang there all game, but I do think Buffalo gets it done. I will lay a field goal. I'll probably buy a hook and get it down to 2.5.
All right. Yeah, again, I hate to say it. It's like I'm leaning dogs again in teasers. Kind of like the dogs. And I might jump in. Again, some props. I know Matt will throw them out on social. I know I'm going to throw them out on social. Did okay last week. The last game, the Eagles game, I did do very well. But what can you do? That happens. But there it is, people. I mean, good luck. Enjoy the games. And if you really break down the quarterbacks, Matt, I mean, you just can't go really wrong with the quarterbacks that are in this. You look at the NFL, you do need the offensive line. You need defensive line. You need things. But bottom line is you need the quarterback. And we got superstar quarterbacks in these games coming up. And I think Goff's good. Goff sometimes can make mistakes. But I think Goff's pretty good. If Goff's hot, especially AFC quarterbacks are dynamite. But Goff can really light it up. So can Baker, man. but they can throw the picks too.
Yeah, I'm looking at last year, the quarterbacks versus this year too. I want to see who I mean, when you break this down, those are all, well, Goff is probably a top 12, and Baker is probably a top 15. Last year you had Geno, Trevor Lawrence, Danny Dimes, Cousins. God, who was the Buccaneers quarterback last year? Because they were in the wild card. I can't even think of who that was.
Not sure.
Oh, it was Brady. Never mind. It's Brady last year, and he threw 66 passes, and they got smoked. I actually think that could be what happens to Baker this week. He might throw over 50 passes when they get behind. But yeah, that's a great point. This is a great divisional round with quarterbacks, and I actually think the better teams advance into this. So I'm not going to buy into the seeds as much. I think we have really close games. I'm not buying those 9.5 spreads, 10-point spreads. Give me those points all day. I do like one blowout, and I'm going to probably put that on the Bucs Lions. And then Chiefs Bills is going to be probably the best game of the week, viewership wise, fan base wise, et cetera. And speaking of, Peacock took a dump last week. I guess it was one of the worst rated playoff games ever for the NFL, and good for the people not tuning into that and kind of boycotting.
Yeah, good for them. I joked about that last week at the Steelers. Some people said that would be the higher subscription, and the next day, how can I get out of this? Got to get out of this really quick. All right, man.
People were probably splicing cable old school ways.
All right, man. Here we go. Top 3. We got to call in. Do we have? So, John, it's coming. We might have.
Yeah, I might get on the phone right now.
So, Maddie, I text you here. We got a special.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yep.
Gavin Evick. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Yep. John saying yes.
Gavin Evick.
Evick, okay. His dad is Pete Evick. His dad, Pete, plays with Brett Michaels.
From Butler, Pennsylvania.
There we go. So the top 3, we've been doing the top 3 the last couple weeks because, sports, we're losing some football here. We're having fun with this. Gavin, are you on with us?
Yes, I am. How's it going?
Hey, man, what's going on, Gavin? Thanks so much for joining us tonight. So we do, we break down sports, we break down gambling, but we've been doing a little bit of fun top 3, and we've done best sitcom intros and everything like this.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do tonight, our top 3 is 80s hair bands.
That's easy.
Okay. So super easy. All right. So I know your dad, Pete, he plays with one that, a pretty famous rock star. You want to just give a little info on that?
Yes. My dad is the guitar player for Brett Michaels of Poison.
Oh my goodness. That fires me up right now.
Yeah, so this is all really easy to me because it's what I grew up with.
Okay. All right, so let's.
If I'm going to give it to you, I'm just going to say straight up, I guess there's a difference between my top 3 favorites and what I would say are the top 3 best. I would say my favorite's got to be number 1, Warrant, Skid Row, then Poison. That's what I would say are my top 3.
Did I get a Skid Row in there? Was that number 2?
Did you? Okay, can you repeat? Matt, I don't think, Matt, you can talk I'm going to have to go through this. Can you give it one more time, Gavin, your top 3?
Yeah. Warrant, Skid Row, then Poison.
So Warrant, Skid Row,
then Poison.
Yeah. And I heard a little Skid Row, Youth Gone Wild. One of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh, yeah. We covered that in our set no matter what. If we're doing covers or if we're doing originals, we always do Youth Gone Wild, Skid Row.
There you go.
It's one of my favorite songs to do It's my favorite song to do live because I feel like I don't want to be cliche and say it connects with me, but it's what I feel. That song is one of the reasons why I got into rock and roll.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I've done it 3 times this week. I'm actually down at Rock Island Fest down in Key West right now. That's why it's a little loud. We've had some shows, and I got up to jam it with a couple other bands, did it in my own set. I've been doing that song all fucking weekend.
Well, we love it, man. Hey, real quick before we let you go, and we appreciate so much you calling in and doing this with us. If you had to give one honorable mention, who would be the band that was like right there? Like right there?
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. Easily.
What's your favorite Bon Jovi song?
Wild in the Streets off of Living on a Prayer. Or not Living on a Prayer, off of Slippery When Wet.
Slippery When Wet. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's just fun. It's like I love, fun rock songs. And that song is just pure fun. So
here we go. We got a little chime, a little music coming in there. Oh, yeah. Love it.
Cool.
Oh,
All
hey,
right.
Hey, man. Hey, Gavin, thank you so much. Thank you for chiming in with us. We appreciate you giving your top three, and we would love to talk to you again, man. Best of luck, and keep crushing out the concerts and the music, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
There we go. That was awesome.
Yeah, and he didn't even put Poison in there. Even better.
Put him in 3. Just did a show here, John, right?
Yeah, so his dad was playing their post New Year's Eve party this past weekend, and we had 3 different bands. Pete is part of 2 bands that played, and he brought his son up on stage and did a couple songs together. And it's always nice to see the dad, kind of pass off, the talents and share his wisdom on the road for years and years, and to see them perform together. I'm sure that's a highlight for Pete, and I can only look as a son looking at his father. I think that's a really fun thing to be able to experience with your dad.
Well, that's awesome. That was awesome getting him on there. Good job there, John. That was cool coming in. All right, here we go. We're gonna do ours. Jeff's not here, but you have his top 3.
Yep, I have Jeff's top 3.
And you kind of earlier in the week you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this, but you came in, right?
Yeah, I got my top 2. I'm still working on my number 1, but yeah, I'll throw some in for you.
Okay. Here we go. I'm going to give out a couple. Dr. Brent gave, I got Ken's too. I know Ken's still here, but hey, Ken, I got yours written down, man. I got it. Anybody else in the chat? Let's go. All right. Let's do, John, I'm going to go to you first. Let's hit, Jeff's number 3.
Jeff's number 3 was Motley Crue, and mine was Skid Row.
All right. Jeff's Motley Crue, John Skid Row. Maddie, why don't you go? Oh, I'll give Dr. Brent. Let's do Dr. Brent. Good fan of the show. Rat. And then Ken, Wasp.
Interesting.
All right, Maddie. Number 3, man. What is it?
Number 3 was the hardest for me because I have to, I have a solid top 2, like a no-brainer for me. So I had to eliminate Motley Crue, which is super hard to do. I had to eliminate Warrant, Skid Row, Poison, Cinderella. So my number 3 goes back to growing up, rocking out to this, typically before football games, sports games, baseball games, everything. Europe. The final
nice.
Countdown.
Nice. There it
I
is.
feel like this is a classic, like Jock Jams, album.
Yeah. You said
Yeah.
oh, there you go. I like it. All right. My number 3 coming in. It's been mentioned already. I'm going to go right with Dr. Brent. We're going to go Rat, number 3. Oh, man, does this just fire you up? And I'll tell you another one they did, John. Body Talk. I think it was in the movie Golden Child. I think it's Body Talk. Man, I'm at weddings sometimes, and you're having a great time, and you're just screaming at the DJ, "Play Body Talk by Rat."
Oh, you're one of those people. You're one of those people.
Well,
I'm a DJ.
I joke around a little bit, and I've had some that have played it. They've I have it. Others are like, one time a guy out in Omaha was like, "Hey, sir, I don't have it." Quit asking me. All right, I'm done.
Can I tell you the truth? We have it 99% of the time.
You just don't want to play it.
We just don't want to take the risk to kill the floor if we don't know it.
Well, you would have had me out there dancing. All right, here we go. Let's get Jeff's number 2.
Jeff's number 2 was Badlands.
Okay. I don't know if I know who that is.
Heard of him, but I can't tell you a song.
I don't know. Okay. Well, it's okay. It's his list. John, number 2.
For number 2 for me, I went with Guns N' Roses. I thought that was solid for runner-up.
Great band. Great band. All right, Ken. Ken's Rat, man. Rat's on many boards. Dr. Brent, Poison, baby. Talk dirty to me. My number 2, man. You know I hung out with Dr. Brent a lot, and I grew up with him. We listened, and we went to some of these concerts. Number 2 for me, Poison. Maddie, number 2. Switch the order up there.
I'm going with Gavin. I'm going with Bon Jovi, number 2.
All right. Man, this is getting good.
I apologize. I guess I don't think Matt can hear the music either, so we're probably singing along. And
I know. Matt's probably like, why is Smitty like going like, well, hey, I'm just...
As long as the people can hear it, I'm all for it, so play it away.
Trust me, Matt has all these songs in his head. He has them all in his head. He's just seeing me doing, a little thing. All right, let's go number 1, everybody. Everybody's number 1. Let's go back to Jeff. What's he have?
I think Jeff and I are the same. Just Kicks, having him at the Salisbury Center means a lot. And definitely Kicks for both of our number 1s.
Fantastic. I was here at that concert. Fantastic concert. They put on a great show. Love their songs. They were close for me. Very close. All right, Ken. Ken's list. Motley Crue. Dr. Brent. Cinderella. Love Cinderella.
Great choice.
Great choice. All right, Matt. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it with me. So, Matt, what's your number 1?
Bro, when you have a one-armed drummer and you dominate, Def Leppard. No brainer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've seen them in concert a couple times. All right. It was close, man. All these Poison, Motley, and Motley Crue's my number 1. It was so close, but Motley Crue's number 1 for me.
Can't fight you on it, Smitty. Hard to eliminate him from a top 3.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. John got me fired up tonight, man. Playing these songs. Kickstart my heart. People don't want to hear me sing. They don't like my takes half the time. They surely don't want to hear me sing. But that's our top 3.
I should have threw in your Shawn Michaels "Sexy Boy" song to see if we can throw it back to last week.
Hey, I've done Sweet Alabama from Bama this year in football, man. Just I don't know. Maybe we'll do some real slow songs here. Turn the lights down and everything. But no, top 3 80s hair bands. That was the top 3 this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it, man. That was a good time. John, thank you so much, man, chiming in. Jeff, thank you. Absolutely. Gavin calling in. That was awesome, man. And again, Ken on social media and our good friend Dr. Brent sent that, man. We always like seeing your top 3 too. We'll keep firing the top 3s out over the next couple weeks when sports, and when it gets busy, maybe we'll miss a week, but we're going to keep trying to fire it. Maddie, any final thoughts, man? Fun show like it always is.
Yep, just real quick. Gearing up for golf. I'm off to a really good start. I had Spieth the first tournament. After day 1, I bet him to finish top 5. Got that one through. It was nice. Last week I had Young Hung and finished top 5. He choked away the win, which would have been a nice payday. Second was still okay. So this week, a guy to keep an eye on for me is Adam Hadwin from Canada.
Good golfer.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm upset with myself. I jumped in the first tournament in Hawaii, and this is out in California now, right?
Yep, La Quinta.
Okay, yeah. So did okay. We hit Morikawa. I think I had him top 5 that first tournament. I missed last week. Didn't have time again to jump in, and I love gambling golf, and especially Matt's so big into it too. So I mean, we always have a good time going back and forth. My dad likes to throw out some players for me too, so that's always a lot of fun. Just got too busy, didn't bet it. I'm going to try to really chime in here over the next couple weeks and get in with some golf bets there. So good luck, Matt. Hopefully you hit it. All right, Matty, that's it, man. Memphis, they're doing well.
Yes, sir.
All right, I haven't checked scores, so hopefully mine end.
I'm actually going to look right now as you bring it up. But
get some of those late games. Get some of those late games.
Oh wait, big run by USF down to 6.
Okay, what'd you get it at?
I don't know off the top of my head. I believe 9, so it's close.
It's close. All right, let's make some money tonight, people. Jump on some of those late games we gave out, man. Fun show, man. Everybody again in the chat, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love the conversations. Keep spreading the word for us, man. Let's get this bigger. Let's keep moving. Matty, what do we always say?
Everybody dodge the snowflakes this weekend and bang your bookies.
Thanks for listening to the Notebook Wagering Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and be sure to follow @Notebook Wagering. Until next time.